Hello everybody and welcome to our short recording around SO3 for the Assisting Teaching Structured Observations. I'm joined today by Laura Robshaw and we are going to do a mock professional discussion, and I will be taking the role of the assessor and Laura will be taking the role of both the student, and we'll be giving you some top tips and best practice for conducting your Structured Observation 3. So let's make a start. So first off, as with all other structured observations, we'd start by saying good afternoon, my name is Gemma, and you would identify your provider and provider number if you have it. And today I'm carrying out professional discussion for assisted teaching occupational specialism, and it's structured observation 3, which is facilitate educational experiences to support holistic learning and wellbeing, and I'm joined by Laura.
Thank you. So yeah, the student would usually introduce themselves and they'll give their permission to record.
Now would be a good point to mention that if you do have a moderator with you, please do introduce them too if that's applicable. So let's get started. So I've just observed you undertaking a word hunt and circle time activity with a small group of Year 3 pupils, supporting holistic learning and wellbeing. Is there anything you would like to share following this? For example, how it went, if your objectives were met, and any unplanned events.
So this just gives the student an opportunity to explain anything that may have or not gone to plan. If the pupils they had changed or the plan to have in their group had changed, it just gives you an opportunity to explain it. Also, if their objectives were met or if there's anything else that they might have wanted to do. And it can be mapped to any of the professional discussion criteria as appropriate.
Lovely, thanks Laura. Let's make a start on the criteria then for SO3. So we're going to begin with S1.15, which is facilitate learning outside of the classroom. Can you start by telling me about the outdoor experiences they plan and deliver at your placement, and or other experiences and the requirements of the national curriculum?
So the student would share how their activity and industry placement support this, with links to the curriculum where applicable, and examples such as group tasks outdoors, walks and trips. They need to demonstrate an awareness of the benefits of the outdoor educational experience, considering holistic learning and development. And for higher marks, they also need to cover about inclusive experiences and emotional well-being with relevant examples.
Thank you. Now can you explain the significance of health and safety management in line with school policy?
Best practice would be for them to share their risk assessment following their activity, explaining how they did this in line with school policy. And for higher marks, they should reflect on this to explain health and safety management, again in line with school policies and procedures.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or any more examples?
No.
Lovely. So next criteria is S2.8, which is apply pedagogical understanding to deliver or lead small group teaching within clearly defined or planned parameters. So I observed you with a small group of children, in this case 4, so you can just explain how you might adapt this in the first instance for one-to-one, and then if it was for a large group or maybe a full class.
I think for this one, if you have done it for the 4 children, you won't have to explain it for the one-to-one or the large group, but if you did it for a one-to-one or a large group, then you'd have to explain how you did that for small ones. So just a reminder there that it might not be needed depending on the size of your group that you've chosen. Just recheck the assessment justification and it's all clear in there.
Lovely, thanks Laura. Would you like to add anything else or are you happy to move on?
Move on, thank you.
So thank you. Now we're going to go on to S2.17, which is identify and use unplanned opportunities to develop mathematical understanding as they arise. I observed you recognising and using some spontaneous mathematics throughout the word hunt. Could you tell me about how these opportunities and any more that you could have included as part of the session I observed?
So here, similar to SO1 and SO2, the student should share how they applied mathematical concepts in addition to the planned maths. And give them opportunities to share anything they may have missed to ensure the higher marks, just ensuring they've got a range of concepts and it's age stage appropriate to really consolidate and extend that development.
Lovely. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on?
No, thank you.
Wonderful. So the next criteria are S3.33 and S4.18, which is foster and encourage positive, effective, nurturing and safe environments, inspiring pupils to take pride in and develop from their individual achievements, supporting pupils' confidence and self-esteem in order to help them manage their own learning. So I've observed you demonstrating a number of the assessed skills and with a small group. Therefore, we don't need to discuss this here. So similarly to S2.8, a discussion is only needed if you have done a one-to-one or a large group. So the next criteria we'll focus on is S3.37, which is help pupils choose realistic goals that are challenging but achievable. I observed you at the end of the session supporting the pupils to set a future target. Could you tell me more about how you did this to create realistic, challenging and achievable targets, for example, using the SMART method?
Yeah, so just like in SO2, for higher marks, students should share how they engage the pupils to do this in line with the settings approach, explaining what this is, and demonstrate understanding of how to ensure their SMART targets. Giving examples and further links to the setting approach would help show that understanding.
Lovely. Is there anything else you'd like to add? And can you give me an example of a time you've supported a pupil to set their own SMART target?
Yeah, so here, if the student can share a SMART example, it just really helps to demonstrate that they understand what one is.
Fantastic. So the next criteria then, Laura, is S3.39, which is encourage pupils to make informed choices. So I observed you today giving children choices. Can you tell me the importance of planning with pupils to ensure they're involved in next steps and are able to make well-informed choices?
The student to share the differentiated approaches in a range of contexts to demonstrate how they support pupils to consider all available information to make informed choices and decisions.
Wonderful. But can you give me an example of how you've done this?
Yeah, so the student should share some examples to really help them demonstrate their understanding of it.
Wonderful. Are you happy to move on?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So the last criteria then is S4.19, which is support the development of positive self-concept. Again, the activity and discussion about friendship supported this. Is there anything else you'd like to add about how supporting and promoting this through positive practice?
So the student should share only other ways they may do this, considering the assessed skills in the tutor guide, using positive language to reframe how the pupils see themselves, reaffirming positive attitudes and behaviours, and acknowledging diversity in the setting.
Perfect. Would you like me to go over any of the criteria again, or are you happy with the responses?
I'm happy, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Laura. So that comes to the end of the professional discussion, which is for SO3 for the assistant teaching pathway. We hope you found this video useful, and you can access videos for all of the professional discussions across EYE and AT on our YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me, Laura.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.